So this piece in the Daily Beast, I mean, it is interesting only insofar as, or the most revealing thing about this, well, it's perhaps there's twofold. The first most revealing thing about this piece in the Daily Beast is that it is indicative that the Obama administration, the Department of Justice, is feeling political pressure about their attacks on the press and whistleblowers, or specifically the press. And which makes sense because the press is the press. They have access to the press. And they have the ability to make these stories, to create awareness about these stories. So this is really sort of more, less I don't know, I guess it's a reported story, but it's very prosaic.
It's very therapeutic is the word I think
It's
of.
therapeutic in some respects, but it's also sort of like, this is like sort of more touchy-feely. Case in point. Kladman writes that during the AP scandal, Holder had some arm's length to the whole piece because he had recused himself from the issuance of a subpoena for the AP records. But during the Rosen case, the Fox reporter, who was not subpoenaed, but actually was was issued a warrant to basically spy on all his stuff or investigate it. Holder was personally responsible for okaying that. And the story recounts how Holder came to know all these things. By week's end, Holder knew. He had to be proactive in stemming the criticism and restoring the department's credibility with the press. He and his advisors began exploring ways to reform the Justice Department's internal guidelines for investigating leaks to safeguard the media against overly intrusive tactics. Sources close to the Attorney General say he's been particularly stung by the leak controversy, in large part because his departments and his own actions are at odds with his image of himself as a pragmatic lawyer with liberal instincts and a well-honed sense of balance, not unlike the president he serves. Holder's initiating a dialogue with representatives of major media organizations. Invitations go out today, incidentally, with the first meeting taking place possibly as early as this week. But Holder's own personal soul-searching has already begun, with, among other things, the question of why he signed off on an affidavit that, in retrospect, he believed may have crossed the line. As an explanation, if not a justification, justice officials say the department's leadership had come under withering pressure to investigate leaks both within and without the Intelligence Committee. Holder, his aides say, believes there may also be a cultural factor at the root of his decision. It's my own personal prosecutorial culture. Prosecutors tend to have a somewhat insular mind, not always able to see clearly beyond the walls of their cases. I'm working too hard. Sometimes mean taking the maximum advantage of every law and procedural rule. It could mean seeing every activity of those in their sights through a more sinister lens than may be justified. Poor Eric Holder. Poor Eric Holder. He's captured by his own desire to be a great prosecutor, except, of course, when it comes to the too big to fail banks, in which case I have to keep those prosecutorial instincts inside my chest and hide them from the light so that no one can see them. This is really pathetic. And it raises some other questions, too, about whether or not these major media companies will get a special set of guidelines. Whether or not whistleblowers, or say Muslims deserve any protection from this prosecutorial zeal. Or perhaps say guys like Aaron Swartz or Jeffrey Hammond. No, it's just about the media, and it's really just because the media had the ability to raise the alarm bells because it was about them as opposed to anyone else. So this, take this for what it is worth, which is not much. But it's supposedly why Holder wants Congress to step up with the Media Shield Act. I've yet to see what the Obama administration has proposed other than just the name Shield Act. But color me unimpressed.